Hi, and welcome to the next chapter of Infinite Inspirational Chats. And today I am chatting with Charlotte Carter, who I've also am working with. So it's just awesome that she's joining me. I'll let her explain more of what she does, what she offers, and who she is. So over to you, Charlotte.
I am so excited to be here. We are going to have an awesome chat. I just know it. So, my name is Charlotte Carter. I'm a global high performance coach, and I kind of help people unlock their unique brilliance. And then, when they've done that, then we shine it to the world in a way that feels good for them, feels aligned for them, and ultimately gives them like a deep contentment in life. And I do it in many ways. So I work with people one-to-one. I work with people in a group coaching program called High Performance Activator. And I stand on stages to let people experience a bit more of my energy in the presence.
So what's your the journey of like where you started and how you got to where you are now? Like what was your kind of defining moments along the path?
So as a super young girl, I had a massive passion for helping people, a massive passion for helping anyone that didn't necessarily have their own voice or wasn't able to ask for help. I would then sweep in as a fixer and help them from a very young age. So that's like innate with me. And I think all of the jobs that I did and the journey that I went on through various paths, my degrees in health, then I went and worked in mental health. And then I had my whole aha moment in 2019, where I then, from that space, set up my own business and stepped into high performance. So along the way, there were a lot of areas where I wasn't necessarily in control. I was just floating around the expectations of life and kind of just going with the flow of somebody else's expectation, whoever that person or thing was. But I wasn't necessarily in control of it all. But I am now.
So what was the thing that led you to, because I know you do the positive mindset.
What's the thing that led me to where I am now?
Yeah.
Um, so I'd say I worked with people in various states of well-being, and it was all about them and their journey externally. And I think the defining moment was for me when I realized that I didn't necessarily know who I was externally or internally. And then it was a journey of qualifying as clinical hypnotherapist, transformational life coach, and NLP practitioner, which then allowed me to tap into the power of your thoughts. And when you tap into the power of thoughts, you tap into the power of your feelings, and then you go on a journey of, well, a journey, a wild ride, basically, and uncover lots of things. And I would say everybody's in that journey at some stage, whether they know it or not. But for me, that's now my purpose, to help people go on that journey.
So what's the, if you like, the problem that you solve? What would be like a presenting, like what would they present with? How would one know?
So the very surface level generic answer to that is they feel stuck, they feel stagnant, they feel like they know what they're meant to be doing, but they're not doing it. They feel misaligned in themselves or in what they're doing. They feel like they're playing small. That's kind of what they would come to me saying, those kind of phrases. The deeper level is that I would unpick with most of the people I work with is this whole sense of belonging and a whole sense of are you living your truth on one level, but are you living your purpose?
And what would be the experience for of the people around those that are your clients?
What of the clients?
Yeah.
What we experience with them. So the people's perceptions of the clients would be that they are like a fixer, like my journey was. A fixer, that they are they may see them as a happy-go-lucky person. They may see them as somebody that uses humor. They may see them as somebody who is very, very busy, a very hard worker, very determined, super caring. They may see them as somebody who has fingers in lots of pies but doesn't necessarily feel settled. Various things.
So how would one know that the problem is now resolved, that they are coming from a place of purpose, their own purpose, their own sense of self?
Well, I mean, I love that question. It's very individual, and it's a feeling. So it's an inner knowing. So it's a piece around. If I was to try and put some parameters, there would be a lightness, there would be an ease, there would be an energy, there would be a desire to do more of it. There would be a positive change in ripple effects of other parts of their life, like their health, their well-being, their priority of themselves, how they nourish themselves, how they move their body, other external parts of their life. And there would be a drive, a big, like a drive that takes over them in a different way.
Can you expand a little more on that?
I can. So this is so unique, but depending on the people, there would be a inner meaning.
That one. So we just had a small interruption there as Charlotte was sharing. I shall try and cut the two videos together and hopefully it'll flow. We were talking about people living from their purpose and the experience of that.
Yeah, we were talking about the kind of like, this is so individual because it's the depth of where people go to in their lives. So some people will live their purpose 100% and it will feel aligned to them and it will feel very, very light because they're doing it. And it will seem on the surface that they're only just touching it to somebody else. Some people will have a purpose that's so, so deep and quite a journey to get to, and it's quite deep to hold, that it will feel like it's been a deeper journey, but they're equally as aligned for the people. So it's just so unique.
So can you talk a little bit about purpose? What do you mean by purpose?
So in my field of high performance, I attract a lot of people who are externally driven by performing well. Everybody has a unique way of performing well, which I feel is their purpose. So it's the things that they are put on this earth to do. So it's the things that feel super easy to them, that are aligned with their strengths and their values, and the things that feel like fun to them and feel joyful. They're the things that all factor into their purpose. So some people will have many mini purposes along the way. And as they go through life, different things will become attached to their purpose. But ultimately, it's when people are living a life that they feel is really, really easy and that anyone can do because it's so natural to them.
So what would be they're talking too fast. What would be your purpose?
Or what is my purpose?
What is your purpose? Or understanding of where your purpose is?
So my purpose in life is to allow people, anyone, to activate within themselves an element where they can shine their brilliance into the world. So my purpose is helping people shift their limitations, their blocks, their visibility fears, their judgment fears, that kind of thing, and then allowing them to shine in whatever guise that is, whether that is living a life that is nothing like what they've got now, but actually would bring them a lot of joy. And so we work on why they're doing the stuff that they're doing for everybody else, or whatever it is. Being able to, I talk about it, being able to stand strong in your own playground. So a playground has the connotation that it's got tools, it's got all toys, all things for you to climb on, for you to support. It's also a community where you bring in the people that you want to play with. Play is a big part of my brand. Let's have fun. Let's go back to the things that brought us joy. And then standing strong in it alone is what I teach people. Not saying that you're always going to be alone, but to be true to yourself, only you have the answers. When you've got that strength, then other people won't affect you as much.
So what's the aha as you experienced it when you realized your own purpose?
So the aha for me was 2nd of April 2019. I was going to a get together for an all women running club, and the aha for me in that kind of day and in that moment was looking in the mirror, because I didn't know what I was going to wear, and realizing that I didn't know who the hell I was. So whilst I recognise like the physicality of myself, I was just like, well, I don't know, A, what clothes I'm going to wear. I don't know how I'm going to introduce myself. I don't know where we're going to go with it. I don't know even if I've got time for it. A million one excuses. And my aha moment was my whole identity had somehow been lost by the rhythm of life, however you want to look at it. And that was my biggest like smash the mirror moment, because I was like, how have I only just realized that? And then how can I help other people realize that?
Hmm. I think that is the big gift, isn't it, in the ability to reflect back, like to know where you are, who you are, where your identity is, and
Yeah,
what you perceive of another.
yeah, I would agree. There's a huge part in life that people block out. So they'll either be looking through a mirror that's all smudged, or they will be looking through a mirror with glasses that are all smudged, or they'll be looking at a mirror and not allowing their conscious and subconscious to receive the image because they're just gazing.
Hmm.
So there's multiple reasons, and it's just an interesting concept because we look at yourself. Most people will look at themselves most days, whether it's a glimpse or whether it's looking for a long time. Yeah, do we ever actually see ourselves? That was a big statement, wasn't
Very powerful. I'll just
it?
take a moment to take that in, I think, because it is true. And it's the when we look in the mirror, who do we see? Like, and generally it can come from a place of the labeling, what society tells you, what your family have told you, what culture tells you, what schools have told you, your friends tell you. And they're just labels and they hide. It's almost like they're safe, so you can hide behind them all. But the truth of who you are is just waiting to be seen, to be experienced kind of in this 3D earth plane that we've chosen. I mean, we've all chosen to incarnate here. So, the journey of it all is phenomenal.
And
All the
it's what where you want to tap into what awareness of who you are. I always ask people, who are you? rather than who's Louisa? Because to me, they're two different questions.
Mm.
Because Louisa, A, is a label for you, and there's a perception of being a little bit detached by being able to describe who you are by your name, because A, other people have the same name. It's just another part of a human branding. So I always ask, who are you? Which
Mm.
is a different way of looking at a question.
Yeah. And I'm aware that's also part of my understanding of my soul purpose is about the um, uh, bringing awareness to the aspect of divinity that's chosen to incarnate. So whether you call it the I am presence or whatever, and as a purpose that looks like I would be a wholeness activator. So I activate wholeness in another being. So yeah.
Sounds epic. Just like a small day job then.
Small day job, yeah, just in my spare time. Yeah. So when somebody has got their purpose, when you've got a client and they're really starting to unfold, they're really finding their own voice, their own strength, their own clearer reflection. What does that look like? How is that experience? What kind of feedback do you get as a knowing that that's a truth?
So some people will say, I feel like I've come home. Some people will have a feeling of like, this just feels like, even though it's brand new and I've never done it, it actually feels like I've done this all my life. So there's a feeling that people have when they're like, oh, it's like a mic drop moment, but in a very different way, like a very grounding, like, oh, this is just how it's meant to be, and this is just trusting the timing, and it's all landed as it's, but I would never have guessed it was going to be like this. And I think there's an element of understanding that they're going to feel a newness of sorts, but that's okay. So there's like a safety in it.
Mm.
Whereas some people, when it's something that's not their purpose, the newness freaks them out. Whereas when it is, it's just like, this is just like an old pair of comfy shoes. This is just like, there's an element of comfortability in the newness.
Yeah, I've spoken to quite a few people about purpose and the journeying and things. And the thing I've noticed the most, especially having worked with you as well, but just in everything that you offer, is that there's a real, like, when someone's in their truth because they are so comfortable. It is so easy for them. Whereas a lot of other people I've experienced challenge. So it's like if it's too easy, it's too comfortable, then it's not really what you're here to do. It's almost like they want you to be fighting for it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much that is untrue in that.
There's an element that I talk about a lot in the business. It's about like wearing the badge of working hard on it. So it's like, I'm going to work hard. This is what I'm going to do. And maybe some of those people that you've alluded to, that was their journey or their perspective. It's like, we've really got to go after it. We've got to really work hard. We've got to challenge at everything. And for some people, that will drive them, but it's never going to drive them as much as releasing that and letting be and having that balance between masculine and feminine energy and go, okay, yeah, I'm going to have that drive, but actually, when I surrender, then I'm going to be in this space, and that's where my growth is going to be.
Beautifully put. Oh, wise woman, you.
I think it's because it's part of my journey was very much, I had a lot of masculine energy for certain, I still have, but I'm now, lead with feminine energy. So it's part of I'm here and I'll challenge you, as you well know. I will definitely allow people that space for stretch, and I can totally take them if they want to get really stretched. I can do that. but it's not what I lead with. It's now it's like I'll bring it if that's what you're going to ask, but actually the more effective high performance way for me is let's step into the supportive, grounded, nurturing space and allow you to be and watch you unravel and reveal yourself, and then we'll be able to look at the best way of tackling high performance for you.
That sounds another question first. So just for the listeners or people watching the video, what's your definition or your understanding of the masculine feminine energies that you just spoke of?
Of course. So for me, masculine energy is where you're doing. So you're very much doing, you're proactive. In terms of a business, it would be all the sales activities, all the driven parts of that part of the business. It's very much where you've got all your key performance indicators, where everything's, following a plan. It's very structured. It's quite regimented. It's also quite limiting. That's masculine, in my opinion. Then feminine is where you are being, where you are in the spaciousness, where you're in the openness, where you're in the expansion, where you are a little bit more reactive, but you're actually trusting in the flow. And so you're not attached to the outcome. And in building a business or building a life or getting to all of your desires, you've got to find your blend of both. You've got to find, well, however you're going to tap into this drive, but you've also got to tap into the presence and the groundedness to be able to amplify it.
Beautifully put. It's funny, isn't it? Because people have such a different perception or understanding of masculine, feminine, and with it, then the judgment on it. But like as you've presented it, it's like it's not a critique like of being masculine or being feminine. It's very much about finding the harmony and balance.
And it's finding the uniqueness within you.
Mm.
So within that balance, so some people will be, driven and way more successful in their own definition of success by leaning into one or the other more. For certain, that will be their natural tendency. But some people, I think, that I've worked with have absorbed other people's way of doing things that hasn't been aligned with their own masculine, feminine way of being. So then there's
What
been all this disconnect.
what do you think's the reason behind them absorbing it?
So many, many reasons. So the whole empath can be part of it. The whole energetic boundaries can be part of it. The whole FOMO and shiny object and comparisonitis, judgment, fear of failure, fear of success, belonging. I want to be in that gang because I don't fit in. Multiple reasons. Ultimately, I would say boundaries on emotional, physical, and energetic level. That was a big answer, wasn't it?
I would expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, no pressure.
When I ask big questions with small words,
Yeah.
we allow for the big answers.
Yeah.
So what difference does it make to people, like kind of long term? Like we've all heard of quick fixes, like you can have an amazing coach, does amazing work, and then, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, you're right back where you started. What's the like what would be the difference in what you offer?
So in terms of the work that I do, I'm here for sustainability and integration. So I talk, as you well know, let's take small steps. Let's integrate them. Let's get this as a new habit, new identity, new way of being. Let's step up again. Let's wait till we've made sure we've integrated so many people that I work with, especially because they're highly driven and they're highly ambitious and they work quick. They're like, I know where I'm going, I want to go here. And then they haven't built those foundations. So for me, it's the whole like slow and steady. I can do big jumps, but as long as you can integrate them, that's the piece. I'll jump quick. I'll jump as quick as people want to because I'm a quick jumper myself. But you have to, and again, I've learned this myself, you've got to integrate that new version of where you're at energetically in many guises before you jump again.
It sounds like so just correct me if I'm hearing it wrong, but my sense is that it's more about taking a step rather than the size of the step.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter how big your step is or how small it is, it's the fact you've taken a step.
Trust yourself that you've lifted your foot up. That's all you got to do.
Mm.
Because so many people are assuming that they've got to go from 0 to 1, and then they'll go 1 to 2. All you've got to do is move from 0. You'll trust that you can lift your foot up, and then you will be guided. You'll take wherever you go, whether you're 0.01. That bit doesn't matter. Bring the other foot with you and take your journey. My aim always is, and I will say this with a lot of people, is you'll dip back, but we don't want to dip back too far. We want to be able to keep you going. There's human nature, you will dip back. We spoke about that. Everyone will dip back. That's part of the mind and the body trying to keep you safe. So that's part of the balance. So some people who think they've got to go from 0 to 10 and then they dip back to 5, they have this sense of feeling like they're a failure and it's not worked and I'm going to give up. Where actually, if you just stepped to 2 and then you held 2 and then you stepped to 4 and you held 4, or you dipped to 3 but went back to 4, then before you know it, you're on 8 and the other people are back at 5. It's not or the other version of you is back at 5. There's no right or wrong. I will always say, trust in the movement rather than the stillness of stagnancy. That was another big one. I like that phrase as well.
You'll be coining that.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was yours. So, what would be like if there was one thing, one giveaway you could have today, people that are listening, what would you like people to sort of take away right now? What's one thing?
So give yourself the gift of 5 minutes and sit in the space of, if I knew when I was going to leave this earth, is this what I would be doing? Is this in any way, shape what I would be doing? Is there a bits of it I like or I don't like? And start to find out which pieces of it, if you knew you had a year to live or something like that, or you knew there was like a finality of the experience, what would you be doing? And are you doing any of it? And if you're not doing any of it, practice self-compassion and then think, how can I start doing some of it?
Beautiful. So, thank you very much. I think that's given everybody quite some fodder, some food for thought. I love how succinct you are, like how quick you get to the point. It's makes it so much easier rather than scrabbling around trying to understand what it is that people are saying, people are trying to convey. So I'm just want to end on a little bit in the information that you got sent over, which about you, which says that you have a real love of people, laughter, and high energy, and you love life. So to put it simply, having fun, feeling satisfied and stretched whilst taking on new challenges makes you feel like a kid in a sweet shop. So what are some new challenges, fun new challenges that stretch you, that you are incorporating in your new year?
So, great question. My whole life existence purpose is around the balance of mind and body for people. They're so intrinsically linked. And a lot of the last 6 months in this year has been I've been a lot in my mind for various reasons. So 2024, the body's taken the full lead in a different guise. So one of the stretches for me, I'm saying this on this podcast, one of the stretches for me is about showing the physicality of what I can do as I like age. I'm turning 50 in August. As I age, and show my strength and all those kind of things, without it actually being about what I look like, or all the muscles about that. The main journey of that for people is around incremental changes will get you where you want to get to. So for example, say I want to get a 6-pack or something like that, then that's part of this whole body journey. It's not about saying 6-pack's the answer, or 6-pack's the winning, or 6-pack's the goal. It's about, if you have a desire and you want to show that, then you can in a way that feels good for you. Why it's a stretch for me is because one of my whole stories is never be a show off. So I'm very well known and very well respected in the area of mindset, for certain. I've had some very high level clients, but in the whole physical arena and the whole PT side and that kind of thing, I'm not as well known. And my journey is you can have both. So I better go to the gym.
I was going to say, what challenges have you set yourself?
So I'm going to do a high rocks event that I've not done before. I'm doing that with a friend, which is like a physical event. Lucy, who works with me, we've got an obstacle course event in May, and I've got another half marathon in February. So yeah, there's a few. And then my own podcast comes out in March. So there's a few things going on.
Ooh, very exciting.
It is all exciting. That's what life's about, isn't it? Finding the excitement.
It is. It is finding your own sense of excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fueling it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, if anyone would like to get in contact with Charlotte, what would be the best way for them to do that?
So I'm on Instagram at Charlotte_High Performance Coach, or the website, the business is called High Performance Activator. It's www.hpactivator.com, and there's free stuff on there. There's information about what we do. That's if you want to get a wider picture, I'd go there.
Brilliant. And have you got any offers for people in the up and coming times if they think, oh, that sounds interesting? Is it best to just go to your website and have a nosy?
If people would like, I run Activator as a 3-month program for women. And we start 15th of January. So if people are listening super soon and they're like, wow, I need to get myself going in the new year, then definitely just send me a message via the website or Instagram for that. I've got one one-to-one space left. Other than that, I am bringing out more self-study programs in the next 2 or 3 months. So there'll be lots more for people to learn different types of high performance in that way.
Exciting. Brilliant. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been epic.
That's one of your favourite words, epic.
It is, yeah.
And thank you all for listening or watching, depending on where you are. And until next time on the Infinite Inspirational Chats, take care. Bye for now.
Bye.